Hey everybody, Katie here at the Howard Homestead, and we are planting our bare root strawberries today. If you saw our unboxing video, you know we have a lot to plant, about 175. Half of those are going to be June-bearing and the other half are everbearing. Now the difference between the two are June-bearers have a lot of runners that they shoot off during the season, and they also have one large crop in the early summer, about June. An everbearer doesn't really shoot off the runners like a June-bearer will, and it will actually bear fruit from late spring to the first frost in the fall. Now, since this is our first big strawberry patch, we're going to try planting them in several different ways to see what works best for us. For the June-bearing variety, the one that sets off all the runners, we're going to plant in the more traditional way with the straw mulch. But for the everbearers that don't set off as many runners, we're going to plant them in a weed barrier mat. Okay, so let's talk about fertilizers. If you want to use a granular fertilizer, this Job's Organic All-Purpose is a great way to amend your soil by working it in before planting. Now, Stark Brothers also has a specially formulated strawberry food that's water soluble so that you can water your strawberry plants in right after planting and throughout the growing season. All right, so we've amended our soil and now we've created our rows about 2 foot wide and 3 foot apart, and we went ahead and laid down our straw mulch for the June-bearers and the weed barrier for the everbearers. All right, before planting, you're going to want to soak the roots of your plants in water for about 30 minutes, which is going to help hydrate your plant and wake them up out of dormancy. Now it's time to plant. We ordered our bare root plants from Stark Brothers, and a bare root plant is exactly what it sounds like. The roots are bare. Bare root plants are also more affordable, and it's easier to find different varieties. The next thing I like to do before planting is visualize where I'm going to have the plants. So I actually lay them out where I want to plant them. For my June-bearers, they're going to be about 24 inches apart. For my everbearing variety, they're going to be about 10 inches apart in a staggered row. Let's take a closer look at the plant. These are the roots and this is the crown. When we're planting, we'll want to make sure that we put the plant in the soil right at its crown. We don't want to bury the crown, and we also don't want to leave the roots exposed. If your roots are pretty long and vigorous like mine, you can actually cut them back to be 4 to 5 inches long. Now we'll just dig a hole that accommodates the roots and plant it at that ideal depth where the crown is not buried but the roots are not exposed. We'll spread the roots out evenly in the soil and tamp them down to make sure they are nice and firmly in the soil. For the weed barrier, we'll just cut a small X in the material and then plant them the same. If you're using the Stark strawberry food, now is the perfect time to use it to water in your plants. And that's it. In just a few weeks, we should start to see new green growth from the plants. For the June-bearing varieties, we're going to pinch the blooms off all of this growing season to help focus its energy on root and plant growth. For the everbearing varieties, we'll pinch the blooms off for the first half of the growing season, and we'll be enjoying strawberries later this summer. As always, for more growing information, go to the Stark Bros website at the Growing Guide section.